Okay, before I forget, just want to congratulate Dick Stockton on 55, retiring after 55 years of broadcasting. He's always been very professional with us and does a great job, and I've always enjoyed the times I've had to be interviewed by him, and especially in the pre-game meetings. So it's been good there. But I think it's been a really good offseason. We had some coaching staff changes that's been going really well, and then scheme-wise, we've been going through everything really with a fine-tooth comb, trying to evaluate every little thing that we're doing and where we have to improve and things that we can do terminology-wise, all the different areas. But it's been good. We've been working hard on obviously in free agency, and now I got to turn this down, Bob. And obviously now in the draft where, like I think I just finished the last defensive player about 10 minutes ago, and now I'll start moving to the offense. So anyway, with all that, fire away.
Right, we'll start with Lindsay, and next up will be Chris.
Yeah, thanks, Coach. Obviously, you guys have made a number of moves so far this offseason, but the first one, of course, with Dalvin Tomlinson. I guess specifically with him, just what do you like about his game and having the only other Dalvin in the league on your team?
Well, one of the great things about Dalvin is he's extremely bright, but he's also very, very physical, really good athlete. He had scholarships to Ivy League schools, so that tells you about his intelligence. But everything that we heard out of New York was that not only is a great teammate, plays really well, but he's also was a captain, leader in the room, so and on their defense. So we're really excited to have him.
Chris?
Yeah, Mike, I'm wondering if you could talk a little bit about how you've been able to rebuild your defense so far in free agency, and did you take in account in this process? I know you said in January that maybe you probably miscalculated losing all the defensive veterans last year. Did you kind of take that into account as you move forward into free agency this year?
Well, initially when we got done with the season, we evaluated everything, and we knew that we had quite a few areas that we needed to fulfill. And, honestly, Rob and Rick, they've done a great job in doing that. But we've been really fortunate, too, that we've had a lot of guys that have played here in the past that have wanted to come back. They understand the way that we do things and the type of program that we run. So, it's just continually going, and we'll continue to try to improve through the draft as well.
All right, next up is Dave, followed by Matt.
Hey, Mike, obviously they haven't got to the draft yet, but how do you think you're going to replace Riley Reef?
Well, we've got, at this point, we got Rashad Hill back, we got Udo back, we got O'Neal back, we got Cleveland. So, we'll be able to take care of those situations. All those guys are good players. And so we'll continue to figure it out and go from there.
Mike, when it comes to Patrick Peterson, what was your, familiarity with him outside of watching from afar? I mean, did you have some familiarity with him before, and what do you see him bringing to the defense?
No, I really didn't have anything other than I knew about him as a player. Obviously I watched him on tape from this past year, but it was kind of nice. He was trying to decide where he wanted to go, and he asked his agent to call me here, and so and then I called him to talk to him about what he's looking for and some of those things, and so I was able to work out, like I think Rick said, we got it done in about 5 hours. He was in the Bahamas with his family, and so it was honestly probably a really lucky break that we're able to do that. But he kind of initiated wanting to come here, and so I thought that was really good, really important as well. And then as far I anticipating playing corner. That's what he is. He's always been a great corner. I think he wants to continue to get better. I know he wants to continue to play longer, and we're hopeful that we can help him to do that.
All right, Joe, followed by Courtney.
Mike, personally, how much did having a defense not up to your standards last year push you here this offseason and is driving you now?
Well, I'll tell you, Joe, I'm not used to that level of performance from one of our groups. And so, honestly, we've had some of the best. It's crazy because, all the coaches are in the building here now, but we've had some of the best meetings that I've had in 8 years probably. I mean, we're dissecting every little thing that we do, going through it, like I said before, going through everything with a fine-tooth comb. I've been really impressed with the coaches that are in there, but also just all, the offenses has changed so much in the last 4 or 5 years. It's time that we need to do some things differently and change and adapt. And so I'm actually really excited. I can't wait to get back on the field with the players and get them going.
Mike, did the defensive priorities that you had kind of outweigh everything else? And I'm wondering with just how much resources, how much money was spent and allocated towards the defense, how do you balance that out, still having several holes to fill on the offensive side of the ball?
Yeah, well, our offense has been pretty darn good. They're 6th in the league last year. We do have some holes, that we'll fill, but we've still got time to do that. There's still a lot of players out there right now, and there'll be some in the draft. But yeah, I mean, when we looked at the defense and after the season evaluated, it was pretty barren in there, and so we had to address that. And honestly, at the end of the season, I was kind of down in the dumps when I kept looking at the depth chart and knowing what kind of salary cap space we had. And so, like I said, Rob's and Rick have done an unbelievable job doing that, and they've got me rejuvenated with the guys that they've brought in and the players that they've been to help. And then you got guys like Anthony Barr who he decides to restructure his contract because he wants to be here. You got guys like Stephen Weatherly and McKenzie and a lot of these other guys that really want to be here, and Patrick Peterson. And so those kind of things get me excited.
All right, Mark, followed by Chad.
Yeah, Mike, you talked about said it was time for you to make changes. Are these, I know you can't give details, but in general, are these tweaks or are these big changes, and what made you finally realize that?
Well, number one thing that we want to do on defense is we want to play fast. We want to play physical. We don't want to be thinking, and the offenses lately have been getting us to think because we've had to adjust to here and adjust there and do this and do that. And, some of these things we've talked about, and it's just too hard to implement during the season. So, some of it is, some of it is big change and some of it is minor tweaks. But the thing that I've been impressed with, and I told coaches this today, these meetings that we've had, if we were in 12 different cities and doing this on a Zoom meeting, we couldn't get this done. We're sitting in a room, we're watching tape together, we're going over everything. We get on the blackboard, or the whiteboard now, get out and talk about, okay, if they do this, how do we do this? What if they line up and do this? And all the different scenarios that are going through our minds that we don't have to try to get done in 3 days getting ready for a game.
Mike, you talked about Dalvin Tomlinson earlier. What do you like specifically about, the potential of pairing him next to Michael Pearson, having two, pretty big bodies in the interior of that defensive line?
Well, I think Barr and Kendricks will like it even more because they'll have two big guys, two space eaters that have athletic ability that can win on one-on-ones, hold the double teams for those two guys, and Kendricks is another guy back that we missed the last 5 ball games too. So, we've added, Hunter, Pierce, Barr, who missed the whole year, Tomlinson, Peterson. I mean, it's going to look completely different when we get out there, and I'm excited about the whole crew. But those two guys specifically, you know, they're both great guys. They're both really, really good run players who can push the pocket, and I think that's going to help not only Hunter and Barr and you know, Wanham and some Weatherly, some of these other guys we have.
All right, Dawn, followed by Courtney.
Mike, what did you like best about Xavier Woods and how he will complement Harrison and how he'll fill the shoes there?
Yeah, well, you know, Don, you know, I talked to him on the phone before he signed, obviously, and you know, I just told him that this is going to be a good situation for him here. You know, the things that we do are things that he's done before. Areas how we can use him in addition to Harrison, but not only using him in those areas. And you know, when I watch all the tapes on him, I think he's got another level to go to, and I think he's also got a chip on his shoulder as well. And you know, so I like that about guys. You know, I like bringing in guys when other people say they're probably not good enough somewhere else.
Kind of that just sparked one thing, and I have two other things I wanted to ask. Just, do you envision, because I played him so much in the box last year in Dallas, do you envision maybe, you know, taking him away from that role, letting him play more of that free safety role, Woods that is, and then with McKenzie, now that obviously he comes back, he's known your defense, he was the nickel, could that give you an opportunity to try Jeff Gladney out somewhere else, or give you the flexibility to move him around?
Yeah, well, first of all, talking about Woods, you know, Carl Scott had him in college, so he knows him very, very well. So that's a positive. He wasn't always in the box. He played deep. He played some robbery. He played a lot of different places for him. So he has the versatility to do all those things, number one. And you know, like today, we were sitting in a meeting room, and right now we just have, you know, like I said, my dad used to do. He used to put up, when he used to draw an E and an X and an X and an X, you know, or a V for the defensive lineman and X's. So right now, these guys are just X's, and we're trying to figure out where we can use each one of these guys. You know, what can Gladney do different? We've talked about things with him. What can McKenzie do? We've talked about things with him. You know, what if we decide to play more DBs? I mean, there's so many options that we have that right now they're just puzzle pieces, and we're just trying to fit them in the best we can, and it might be a lot of different packages.
All right, Eric, followed by Chris.
Yeah, Mike, kind of building off of that, but going back to the offensive line with Ezra, you know, he played right guard last year. He played left tackle at Boise. You know, do you have to wait and see what you get in the draft of where you want him to play, or, you know, right now is he just one of those pieces of the puzzle on the offensive line?
Yeah, well, right now he's right guard, but all those things can change with depending on what happens the rest of the way in free agency and what else happens in the draft. You know, we don't know what's going to happen in those places, and obviously, you know, there's other positions that we can draft. I'm sure at some point, you know, we're going to try and address all those things. But I think what we've done in free agency so far has allowed us to be able to take the best player available wherever he is.
Mike, wondering what you're going to do about the backup quarterback situation. Is there interest in potentially re-signing Mannion? Might you look toward one of the young guys, Browning or Stanley, or you think you might look for someone in the draft?
Well, all those are options. You know, we really like Browning and Stanley. You know, Stanley's a big, strong arm kid. You know, Browning's been great the 2 years that he's been here. Sean's been outstanding in the room. So, you know, again, without saying, hey, we're going to do this or that, you know, there's a lot of options there, I believe.
All right, Mark, followed by Courtney.
Yeah, Mike, I was wondering if you've had some time now to see Clint in action. You were talking about it all the time you guys have spent together. When you're observing him, what are your thoughts, and is he ready for this?
Oh yeah, he's ready for it. You know, somebody was asking me about that today. Clint is You know, he's a lot like how Kevin was when he was here. He's very detailed. He's very, you know, he brings up the subject that they want to discuss. He'll have his opinions. He'll listen to the other guys' opinions in the room, and then kind of go from there. So he's done a good job. You know, everybody's gonna wonder what it's gonna be like when you're a first-time play caller. But at the end of the day, every one of us was always a first-time play caller at one point.
Mike, where do you think stand with Danielle Hunter right now? Do you anticipate he's going to be part of the off-season program? And I guess where is he at with his physical, the rehab part?
Well, I know he's talked to Andre. I have not talked to him. He's been sending back videos of his workouts, and you know, they're very, very impressive. So we're excited to get him back on the field. You know, he's a great team guy. He's a terrific player, and he's one of the best people that I've been around in professional football.
Mike, how do you address, or maybe just don't change anything with now the 17th game and how some of the guys view it?
Well, I was wondering if the coaches are going to get paid more now too, but I guess that's out. No, you know, Dawn, I really haven't thought about it, to be honest with you. I don't, you know, I know that, you know, we're going to LA, I guess it is now, and so it's another West Coast game. You know, I don't know if they'll put it at the end of the year, at the beginning of the year, or middle, or whatever. So it's just, you know, something else they tell us to do, and we do it like good soldiers.
Time for two more. We'll have Matt and then Courtney.
Reporters are getting paid more for 17 games, actually,
That's good.
Mike.
Hey, I think that's great. Everybody should.
When you talked about Dalvin Tomlinson and his character, it seemed like the kind of the first team that you had, the way you built it up, the veteran players were able to have a big influence on the younger players like Terrence Newman with Xavier Rhodes. I guess when you bring in Tomlinson, when you bring in Peterson with still a lot of young players around, is that sort of the hope or the expectation, or just like what value can they bring beyond just sort of the X's and O's?
Well, I do think every guy's different. You know, some guys, you know, like Harrison Smith, he's going to help the players, but he's going to do his own thing. He doesn't want to be, you know, and so I don't want these guys to be someone that they're not. If they want to help them and do all those things or lead by example, that's great too. You know, I think it'll be great for Watts. He's been in here working out. Wanham's been in here working out. You know, some of these younger defensive linemen have been in here and they're doing. So I think it'll be big for those guys to have other good players around them, and it'll help us with depth and rotations and everything else.
Mike, have you had a chance to watch Dion as a coach? I know the SWAC's playing right now, and this is his first chance as a college football coach. Have you talked to him at any point, you know, during these last couple months?
Oh yeah, I've talked to him a lot. Yeah, he's doing great. You know, I don't know if he played this last weekend, but yeah, I've talked to him a lot. I actually watched his YouTube videos, you know, when he's about the things. But he's you know, I love him, and you know, I know that he's doing a great job. I know he's got a lot of guys that he's recruited that can't play this year and they'll play next year, and so I know he's really looking forward to finishing up this year strong and then get going next year. And I guess surprise wouldn't be the right word to use, but you know, he does a great job. I knew he would. You know, he told me for a few years that he was going to coach college football, and I knew that he'd be an unbelievable recruiter because he's very quick-witted and very smart, and you know, obviously his reputation is pretty good.
Last one, Chris.
Yeah, Coach, wondering if you have any idea at this point or can speculate on what the off-season drills might be like. I mean, how much you think will be virtual, and how optimistic are you that you guys will be able to get some work done on the field?
Yeah, I really don't know. We finally got an email today about the off-season. I'm hopeful that we are able to get out on the field. I think it's really important, especially not for just the young players, for the new players, for the coaches. You know, it just helps with the process of trying to build a football team, in my opinion. So I really don't know, and again, we'll just do what they tell us to do.